it's Nina from VR Focus, and I'm joined by...
I'm Matt Swoboda, founder of Notch.
So tell me a little bit about Notch and how you got to setting it up.
So Notch came from this idea that existing motion graphics tools were really slow, and we came from a background in things like video games where everyone's used to working in real-time workflow all the time, but the tools are really hard to use for artists, I think. So we wanted to make a tool that combined the best technology from real-time world and make it accessible to artists, so make it feel like a motion graphics tool.
Right, so does this tool kind of spawn out of the idea of focusing on motion graphics only?
Well, originally, so we worked very heavily in the live events world. So we actually used on a lot of large-scale concert touring. But it's not tied to that at all. We also work in motion graphics, in VR, anywhere where someone needs good, creative and fast is where our interest lies.
So what does an average motion graphic designer use as a tool, and why is this better?
A lot of the guys we work with, the guys we've met, they use something like After Effects, Cinema 4D, and those tools, they work on a timeline. They feel like you're editing a piece of video, but putting effects on it and things. But you don't have to code anything. It's always just manipulating layers or nodes or that kind of thing. And you can make really complicated stuff with them, but in a way that feels like you're slow. You can build up from nothing. You can build out. And I think that's what we wanted to give you, that same feeling that you're working on something very familiar to that without forcing you to learn to code or to get out of your comfort zone. What Notch does is it makes everything always real time all the time. So you're always working on the full thing. You can see it all in real time. You can change anything and you instantly see the result. And it kind of changes how you make stuff. When you're working on some of the other tools where you make something and then you have to go away for a while before you get to see what it looks like. And it might be like 5 minutes. You might be able to go and have a cup of coffee. You might have to go and watch TV for hours or something before you get to see what you're doing. But when you're working in real time, you can press play and loop, and you can edit your stuff while you're playing. So you can always be editing and iterating and messing about. And it opens up the ability to get these kind of happy accidents, to experiment that you just don't get when you have to think everything out because your render's going to be so long, and you just think, man, if I screw this up, I'm going to have another long wait. Mm-hmm. So you end up really thinking about what you're doing. And with Notch, you don't have to do that. You can be much more free and creative. Mm-hmm. If you're making something for the Oculus or Vive, you've got to be real time anyway. That has to run in real time. So you're already forced down this route of having to use one of the real time tools. But if you're working on 360 video, VR video, then you're often using a completely different tool, which is often very slow to render. And like VR, you can't really figure it out on a monitor. You can't be looking at a monitor at your warped image and trying to work out if something's the right place. You need to be in the headset. The process of changing something, the render is super long with 360, as I'm sure everyone already acutely feels. You can't be editing something, waiting for ages to see whether it was any good and putting your headset on to see if it's any good. You just have no idea. So you need this capability to put something on, put your headset on, look at what you're doing, make it and change it to its works, to its right.
So you've created a virtual reality music video already for a Finnish company, is that right?
It's a Finnish band called Phantom. They're an alternative electronic duo.
You gave the tool, you used Notch, right? Or they used Notch for the first time, and they had absolutely no experience in coding.
So they didn't use Notch. They used there's a Finnish designer, this guy Zebra Color, and he made the thing. And he's not a coder; he's strictly a 3D artist. He's a very good 3D artist. And he wanted to be able to make something without. He didn't want to have to code anything. He wanted to be able to make an interactive, complicated, responsive, audio-driven piece that was linear. It fits the music. It's start to finish, timed to the music. But he wanted it to be interactive. He wanted someone to be able to feel like they were in the music and the music was around them and they were manipulating the music, using the touch controllers and so on. But he didn't want to have to code, and nor should he have to code. He wanted to be able to be to use a tool which gave him the ability to work in a linear timeline, to be able to make effects, to make them interactive, to make nice graphics, and make it all in one place. But I mean, originally when they first proposed the project, they were just talking about doing an Oculus, doing it for Oculus. And then they realized that with Notch, they could also just do one little change, like change one node, and they could do a 360 render of the same thing, or a 2D render of the same thing. So they had this it opened it up to actually making one piece, make it once. You don't have to use a completely different tool and load in all the assets and redo it. You just make it once, and then you flip the switch, and then you get your multiple outputs.
But it's not only the Oculus Rift that that Notch is compatible with, right? It works with other VR headsets as well?
Yeah, so we target the Oculus, the Vive, and Windows mixed reality as well. All PC headsets. Put a tool in the wild, and you don't really have any control over what happens to it. It just it goes its own way. And we're seeing a whole range of things. So we've got some guys, you've got studios who previously worked in live events, or mainly work in live events, and they want to be able to say, they're making this really nice content for screens. They want to make a VR experience out of that as well. So they're working on VR music videos with content related to what they're using for the artist on the screens. And then we've got guys working in theatre who want to make a theatre experience where someone could come to that and they wear a VR headset and they have a theatre experience that's been tailored for them. And we're also seeing, this is a completely unexpected use case actually, we didn't plan for this at all, but guys who, they're doing live streams, VR 360 live streams from large scale festivals and things like that. And they wanted to augment them. So they wanted to have a live, a real, live video stream, but where they wanted to be able to stick 3D in there or text in there. And with Notch, because the 360 renderer is real time, even in stereo, they could use that just to render some stuff, put it straight in the same space as the 360, and it just works. So they can now put 3D comped into their streaming content.
So you've got 360 film, and I think you also mentioned that full motion body capture can also be used and put in. So there's all of these different tools from other softwares that can be integrated into Notch?
Yeah, we have a lot of integrations, particularly because coming from the live events world, people want to be able to use all the inputs that they can. So they want to be able to use, we've got support for things like Kinect cameras, the RealSense cameras, so they can get 3D capture in. That we've got motion capture suits like the Perception Neuron. A really affordable, easy to use motion capture suit that means you can have a live character moving around in a real-time VR experience. We've got a whole controller, you can plug in a MIDI controller and mess with stuff if you really want to. All these range of inputs, because in live events you need that kind of thing.
Who are you looking to approach to use Notch? Is it companies? Is it education sectors? Who's interested?
We're seeing some educational institutions start to teach Notch in their courses now, which is great. But I think our real interest is to target this group of people who are really underserved at the moment, like the small motion graphics studios, freelancers. A couple of guys working on motion graphics content who don't have the ability to buy in an army of programmers to remake their stuff for them. They want to be able to make it themselves. We want to target artists. It's quite challenging. They're challenging because they only use what they want to use. You have to target those group of people. It's not about marketing. It's about doing something that's actually good. You have to do something good because they see through the lies because they use it. They start to use it. So
how much would it be for them to access this? Because this is something that if you come from live events, it'd be quite a lot of money to do something for a large, big project. But what if you're just like a freelancer?
So there's a learning edition, personal learning edition, which is really targeted at students, which is £99 forever. But for freelancers, it's £99 a month on subscription.
Okay, and then is there a special trial version where they'll also be able to access, skills, where they'll be able to learn how to use the software as well? Yeah,
there's a trial version as well, free trial. There's tons and tons of video. There's 5 hours of training videos online on our website. And we run regular training as well. So we run training in London, LA, various other locations monthly.
Where do we go to find out more information about Notch?
go to notch.one.
And head over to vrfocus.com if you want to find out more about virtual reality, and I'll see you there.
Thank you.